Hi, I'm Kinsey Freeman. I'm with Gallagher E. Shepherd. So I'm the Senior Business Development Manager for North America. I'm based out of Omaha. I'm from Wyoming originally, so Nebraska Cornhusker along with Caitlin. We've got that in common, but super excited to be here. Seems like a ton of interest in Missouri. I'm just gonna go through and just kind of briefly describe some of the differences for E. Shepherd specifically. So E. Shepherd is a Gallagher product. I'm sure many of you have worked with Gallagher products, whether it be fencers, polywire, any of those things. We're super proud of our history. We're an 88-year-old company that's still family owned. We manufacture everything ourselves in New Zealand. So that's something that we're fairly proud of because I think it really controls our supply chain, allows us to have stock. We have a warehouse in our North America headquarters in Kansas City. So we're always available. Like Caitlin mentioned, 24/7 service. I know there was a question about having that service available at any time when you implement the technology. Something unique about our team is everyone on our North American team is either got cattle or grew up on a cattle operation. So we understand the everyday stressors. I know peace of mind was mentioned. Excuse me. I know peace of mind was mentioned. There's always challenges on your operations, and we're hoping that this tool will just kind of decrease some of those stress points and allow you to have the opportunity to really maximize the success on your operation. I do want to mention the bulls. So we are a company that is really proud of our response on bulls. We've had a ton of success. I know we use the example of 2 separate herds and just having a virtual paddock in between. We've had producers that have bulls running with cows on just a virtual fence line in between. Those bulls never interacted. So super exciting stuff. I think that helps you understand maybe what your calving season is going to look like too, what that calving window looks like. That's a huge point of stress as we get later down the line. So yeah, super excited to work with the technology that we have. Excited to visit with each of you. If you have any questions, size and design of our collar is a little bit different. I know Caitlin mentions that sometimes. That's more of a human objection than a cattle objection. But I'd love to visit with you about the intentionality of our design and why it looks the way it does.
Hi everyone, my name is John Miles. I'm here on behalf of Monil with the rest of my team here. I went here to the University of Missouri, MIZ, go Tigers. Love that I'm back here at Bradford. It feels great to be back. Overall, our collars are kind of the all-in-one solution when it comes to managing cattle. Over the last month, I've had the opportunity to travel really all across Missouri, and there really isn't a farm that's exactly the same as other farms. So it's been a pleasure to go and test out how our collars work, meet you all, and try to fit all of your needs, whether that be heat detection, rotational grazing, and anything in between. Our collars are the lightest on the market. We're super proud of that, coming in at 2.2 pounds. Top-mounted solar design and just works right off your phone or your iPad. So really proud of that ease of use for all of our consumers overall. We're super excited for some features coming out in the future as well. And so, yeah, thank you all for the time. If you have any more questions, like I said, feel free to meet us in the back, and I look forward to speaking to you all later.
Thank you. I'm Daniel Rose. I'm here with No Fence. Matt Vermeer, who's on the screen there, wasn't able to make it. Him and his wife are celebrating their 4th child, so I'm here in his place. I work on the customer success team with No Fence. And so No Fence is the longest running virtual fence company, trusted by over 10,000 producers in over 7 countries worldwide. And we not only have a cattle collar, we also have a sheep and goat collar, so you can do multi-species grazing and operate on the exact same platform and capitalize on utilizing every part of your operation that way. We also offer collars for every size operation, so anything from 5 head to 5,000 head, and we have pricing opportunities for each size as well. Not only do you own the collar and the data with the system, but you also can utilize our lease-to-own option to take care of some of that upfront cost. So while virtual fence and containment is our foundation, animal health and forage management is really the future of where we're going. And some of those features that we have right now our reduced activity. This will let you know if an animal is lame or oftentimes if they're calving. We also have herd replay, which you saw in the video there, so you can just watch where they've moved, the pasture updates, all of that in the app. We have heat detection, so you can see, conception rates and things like that. And then in addition to that, we have HerdNet, which is a software on every collar, and this allows the collars to communicate and for it to operate virtually anywhere and get updates as frequently as every 30 seconds as far as positions and pasture updates on your animals. Let's see. Yeah, beyond that, I'm here in the back. I know we've got a customer of ours here, Tim Aguilera, so if you want to talk to a producer, he's a great one to talk to. I think we've got a few other customers here, so I'd love to talk to you more later. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Elena Link. I am the territory manager for Halter. I just want to thank you all for coming today, and thank you to Caitlin and her team for putting this on. It's always a good day when we can get producers together and learn. A little bit about myself. I am from Moberly, Missouri, so just up the road. I graduated from the University of Missouri last May and started with Halter in June. So coming on a year of my first job in the real world, and I'm so blessed and love working for Halter. A little bit about Halter. We started in New Zealand in 2016, so quite the history of running as a company. We've been in the US for a little over 2 years now, here in Missouri for coming up on a little over a year. I work with the producers here in Missouri. I recognize a lot of familiar faces in the crowd. A couple things about Halter. One of the things about the newest collars that we just released are direct-to-satellite compatible. Our collars are the only collar on the market that does communicate directly to satellite. All of that information is being sent directly to a satellite and then communicated back down. Some more things about Halter as a company. We do have some exciting things that will be coming down the pipeline soon. I know I've talked with some of our producers here about the things that are next that we are super excited for. But come see us at our booth. We have some great Halter folks that have joined me today, and we also have a live screen with one of our ranches up in Northwest Missouri for you guys to take a peek at. So thank you guys.
Does anyone have, oh, go for it. Yes, thank you all for being here today. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to come hang out with us and talk to all of these awesome producers. If no one has any burning questions, oh, I see one.
Other presentations you've done, and I was wondering if you have something like that. Is it in there? I didn't see it, but maybe it's in there. Okay.
Which one?
Thank you. That's what I was looking for. But I also wanted to ask about minimum number of callers to order. Like, I think
Yes.
someone has to be 100, and I'm just curious if you guys could touch on that, unless it's in there.
Yeah, we're a 20 head minimum, and then there is a price break at that 60 head mark.
Our minimum is 6.
Our minimum is 5 collars.
And our minimum is 100 collars.
Data. So one producer mentioned that the farmer owns the data. I think that's probably a sensitive issue. They're my cattle. Is it my data? What's your data policy for each company? And maybe elaborate in a way that I'm not thinking about it too.
Yeah, so with the no-fin system, not only do you own the equipment, but you also own the data. That's yours. You have access to it. You can download it straight from your account. We're not going to be doing anything with it beyond just improving the system for our producers.
I think perhaps I can speak on behalf of all of us. Our customers' data is the most important thing to all virtual fencing companies. We understand that it's kind of a scary time in ag, and that's something that's important to all of our producers. Speaking on behalf of Halter, your information is your information. It's not for sale, and it's not accessible by other people. It is the most valuable thing that we have, and you guys are putting your trust into us to protect that, and that's what we'll do.
Like Elena said, privacy is the #1 priority when it comes to using your data. So we have access to it for customer support side of things, but we don't share it with other customers or anything of that sort. If there ever came a time to where you wanted us to wipe your data too, we would do that for you too. So we don't hold on to it if that's a request that you make. So we just want to make sure that it's completely yours.
Yeah, same thing here. Your data is completely owned by you. We run a purchase model, so the neckbands are also owned by you. I think you bring up a really good topic, and it is a sensitive topic. That's why I'd encourage you to kind of look at the structure of the companies as well. We're a family-owned company. That information is solely yours and not for us to do anything with.
How soon will this technology be advanced and made smaller to the point where you might be able to apply them to ear tags?
Yeah, I think we're a ways off from that. There's obviously ear tags that you can use for GPS tracking. I think all of us have kind of talked about the new features, especially when it comes to health management, making some of the calls when it comes to heat detection, and exploring different ways how we utilize grazing plans and utilize the technology to implement those. So I think all of the features that are going to be available in virtual fencing, it's going to be really hard to fit in a ear tag. I'm not saying it's not possible, but I think it's a long ways down the road. But I think there's definitely a place. We see it in calves specifically. We can't put neck bands or collars on calves, so we see producers that are putting ear tags, GPS ear tags, just to be able to track those calves, especially on those larger properties out west, to be able to gather those animals. We all certainly know that we can't leave one behind. It's a little expensive today to do that. So there's different ways to utilize those things, and I think, as we incorporate those technologies, things might look a little different down the road.
Very similar response. It's a little difficult to pack all that technology into just a little ear tag without missing some key features. And so overall, we want to make sure it's in the development, but we want to make sure we don't rush the product. And so whenever you finally get your hands on it, it's completely finished and it's not still in its beta stage, where we don't want you all to be testing stuff out and dealing with any potential issues.
Yeah, I think like all of these companies, we're all looking at the space and watching closely on what can we improve. There's obviously some big challenges to overcome with ear tags. We all lose ear tags all the time, and so putting an expensive piece of hardware on an ear is a bit questionable. Right now, we have a system that's proven and it works, but we're going to continue to iterate and find what works best for the producer. Mentioning calves and being able to do something like that, some sort of combination. And so we're continually looking to improve. And ear tags is definitely one that's been an interest for us. And just looking at how can we make sure that that's a successful product in the future.
Not to sound like a broken record here, but yeah, it's hard to pack a lot of information into ear tag and to achieve the same level of information and data that we're able to give producers in the form of an ear tag. Certainly, we all mentioned challenges keeping ear tags in. If anybody, if you're running cattle in Missouri, you probably have cattle in brush. I know personally, it sucks trying to keep ear tags in cows when they're running in brush. So just looking at all those challenges and how we're able to meet the gap.